What is HTML? The term HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, a very familiar term which almost anyone having a brief knowledge about the computer or the computer language or have used internet and unfortunately got the internet disconnected, you might have surely got into this term HTML. It is a standard markup language for web pages, and the elements for HTMLs are building blocks. So elements are the building blocks of HTML pages. And how are they represented? They are represented by tags. This HTML allows the user to create and structure sectors, paragraphs, headings, links, and block codes for any web pages and applications. So what are these? What are these structure sections? What are paragraphs, headings, links, and block codes? And what is this called tags? And the building blocks, that is an element. We'll have this all in a moment in the further slides. So we'll start off with what is HTML elements. HTML elements is a start tag and an end tag with the content in between. So anything you call as a prefix and suffix, whereas the prefix gives you an idea that this is the start of the string or this is the start of the thing, and the end tag gives you an indication that yes, here it is terminated. Similarly, we have HTML elements, which is a start tag and the end tag, and the content or the information, what has to be displayed, what has to be thrown into it, remains in the between of these two tags. For an example, let's have an header here. So h1 and this heading and h1. So the h1 at the very first what you see is a start tag, followed by at the end with the end tag, and the information what you have in between. This is the heading, is the content what you're providing. Let's have a look into other one. So it's similarly same. And P stands for a paragraph. So you have the start tag with a P and the end tag with a slash P. And the content, this is the heading, is in the center of the two tags. So I hope it's very much clear that we need a start tag and an end tag to put any elements or to any content in between those. And that indicates whether it is a start element or whether it is a start of the element or the end of the element. So now let's go ahead and look what is attributes. HTML attributes are given to the elements. So HTML elements can have attributes. So what are these? Attributes, as a word defines, is nothing but an additional information about the element. For an example, it can be a name and value pair, like character set is equal to UTF-8 or width equals to 8 pixels, anything such, a combination of a name and value pairs, which gives the user an additional information, what it is and what it has, what it holds. So this is an HTML attributes for the elements what we provide between the tags, that is the start tag and the end tags. Now let's go ahead and look into HTML structure. What you see on the screen is how the provision HTML structure looks like, where you start with a doc type, that is document type what it is, and then you have a headers and a body, and then you end it up. You follow every single content with a start tag and the end tag. So this is how the HTML structures look like. We'll have a look into that with a hands-on in a moment from here. We'll see every single thing what is being given here in a brief in the next slide. So consider this a program what you wrote. These are type of lines, number of lines you have written, and then what it displays. Any guess we have? Yes, this is how it looks like when you execute it or open it through the Chrome when you have saved it with the .html extension. And here it how it looks like. This is a heading which was given as a heading there, and a paragraph enclosed with a paragraph start tag and end tags. We have many different types of headers, h1, h2, h3, h4, based on the sizes and differences. So it completely depends on us what we use and what's our requirements. So let's go ahead now and see what it is. So this is the title, what we had given in the previous structure. So this is an example, is a given head title for this web page, and this is a heading which was enclosed with the header tag, that is start and the end tag, and this is your paragraph which started with start tag of the paragraph and the end tag of the paragraph, and this is the complete body, whatever you put inside here, and here where your contents falls in. And to every single thing you define, every single thing you want, you start them with every element you want to put in here. You need a start tag and the end tag, as we have discussed earlier. So this is what we call as tags, and we are sure that what is elements, and this is how the HTML structure in a basic looks like. So let's have an example now so that we understand all the previous concepts better. The doc type HTML declares what type of document type file it is. If it is this way, what you see on the screen, it is a document type of HTML5, and we had the same thing in the previous HTML structure what you have seen. And the HTML elements is the root element of HTML page. And then we had head. It is the element that which defines the HTML pages. Followed by we had something called title, element that specifies the title for the document. It can be anything what you give. So the previous example we had example as the title for the web page. Followed by a body, elements that contain a visible page content. It can be anything, images, text, anything of your wish. But make sure that you follow up with the start tags and end tags for every single thing what you do. Then we have headers. H1 element defines a large heading, H2, H3, H4, and these decreases respectively on their sizes as a heading. Then we have at the last P, which defines a paragraph. So whenever we have to define a paragraph, we use this tag to declare a paragraph. So by now we are clear that what are HTML elements and how does attributes give extra information and define the same thing better. How does the HTML structure looks like? And what are the components of a web page? What is header? What is the title? What is the body? And what are paragraphs? And then we also saw what is these terms, doc type HTML. HTML had their title, body, H1 and P, and what they define and how can they be used. So let's go ahead and check out how can we get started. So very first thing to get started, we need a text editor. So we'll be using the Sublime Text Editor for this demo. This is a window from the Sublime Text Editor. Click on the ribbon top, click on the files, and then click on the save file. Once you click on a save as file, then save it as with the dot extension of HTML. For an example, your file name is file, then make sure that you write file.html. Without the .html, it cannot be converted to HTML page. You can even do the same thing even using the normal notepad in the PC what you have by default, but make sure when you do save it, go to the files and then click on a save as and give a file name of your wish and proceed it further with .html, and that will convert the same to .html, and then click on a save and your file is now an HTML file. So let's have a look into this. How does it work